let's just say from the last time, I guess the last lady or whatever, that you and her decided on a place or whatever, and you're like, this place has no internet, and I have a new job. Like I'm back to being like a bouncer or a bartender or whatever the fuck, right at the
Mm-hmm.
hotel or something. You're like, I'm gonna do that,
Yeah.
and I'm done with video games. I'd be like, well, you got a place, you got a gal, good for you. Or Caleb, right? He's got a wife. I'm like, good for you. You know what I mean? Like I'm not
Mm-hmm.
like I'll throw a jab, but I just don't like fucking with people's livelihood. I think that kind of stuff is like, if you did it back to me, I wouldn't appreciate it, like at all. I'd be like, dude, stop putting me on like a scale or a gauge. Like, let me fucking live my life.
Mm-hmm. No, I see that. I think there's certain
Are you
situation.
referring to bad? Are you going into bad situations that you should kind of put up the red flag on? Is that what you're going?
Yeah, yeah. I was saying there are like some situations, like if you're friends with someone that everyone apart from them can see that it's a bad situation, right? And yeah, I think at a certain point you do have somewhat of an obligation to try and steer them away from like the bad idea, right? Like in like Pointless's case, right? Like him barely making boy and thinking that the stock market is going to change his life and turn his life around. It's kind of just everyone can see that's not going to work out without like
What's wrong,
without
Andre?
even like without even like thinking about it, right? So whether that person hates
Dude, the
you
worst part
for
about
it
that
or not, it's like
the worst part about that is he's getting this advice from a coworker. That's the worst
mm,
part that makes me think it's gambling. He's not even listening to stockbrokers or anything. He's just leaving the graph up and he's enjoying the line go up and down. So when it would go up, he'd be like, "Success, I'm on my way there." And then when it was falling, he was just like, "Come on, Coke, what's going on?" Like, and it's kind of like,
mm,
"Yo, bro, like, it's not how it works, like at all." And you hoping for that green line. Oh, you deleted your DD deck.
like inevitably it's like
I'll help you fix it.
playing the stock market is inevitably a better form of gambling than like spinning slot machines, right? Like you have
I
a
think it's good, but I it's not like I didn't lump you into it. I said you both
yeah,
were
no,
doing
for sure.
playful gambling. You were using disposable income, I guess. Yeah, that was what you said at the time.
Hmm.
And then uh what is it called? And then Pointless was just like, this is extra money. I figured I'd give it a shot. So it was a very playful, like, Toasty and Pointless are gambling. Like look at it like this, right? I don't know why you went to the darkest place, but let's say you won it big with the disposable income. Like let's just say you trained or whatever, right? You just pulled it
Hmm.
off, and then the stock market thing worked out for him. I would still say the same thing, and I'd also be happy that you guys got an ass ton of cash. It's just
Yeah, no, for sure.
yours was, I guess, just being burnt for fun, and then his was like he's just crossing his fingers like he's looking at the lottery ticket, as it always isn't the thing. And it's kind of like, I mean, in your case, I don't feel bad for you because you said you don't give a damn. It's fun. And then in his
Hmm.
case, it's kind of like, I mean, you're the most unlucky guy I know, so I'm not surprised, but I feel sorry for you. But the way he saw it is, you're calling my livelihood a gamble, so that means since I'm already an unlucky guy, that means I lose. And it was kind of like, yeah, I guess. I wouldn't gamble myself. I get lucky, but I don't think I have like that 4 leaf clover luck, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like the whole thing with like the stock market, right, as well. Like you can stack the deck like in your favor, right? Like to say, but you like people thinking that the average Joe that works a 9 to 5 at McDonald's or something Like not to like offend you or anything,
He
but like the
works.
average
He
Joe
works.
that walks.
He works as a security guard at a hospital. He didn't
Yeah,
say
yeah,
which one, but just if you want to put
but
him
yeah.
instead of me.
So yeah, like the average guy that walks, say, a security, that probably like no offense, but like if a person is walking a security gig, they're probably either getting their education at that time or they
His
aren't that educated, right? In college, stuff like that.
his plans were, I guess, security ed or security. This was the game plan. All right, this is the Big Bang or whatever with his shit. It was mall cop security or whatever. Then it was like a hospital security, and then police academy, and then police officer. For me, I'm like, that's cool. You want to be police officer? You know, I'm supportive, right?
Hmm.
I don't remember what dream you had before, but I guess WoW's the one you're loving the dream. So there you go. Like, congrats.
Hmm.
But that was his process on it, and he was just like, I don't like my current living conditions, so I'm gonna do the stock market on the side, and hopefully, I can still do what I want to do with the police academy, blah blah blah. But then if I make it big, I can get out of my situation that is my parents because they're sucking me dry. They're fucking me, and I was just,
Hmm.
you know what I mean. And I guess that playful joke is taboo. But what you're saying with the stock market, the average Joe or anybody that doesn't have already money, it just seems like a stupid gamble because, dude, first off, he's still learning the stock market and he's putting like some his savings into it. Like what the fuck? And then uh,
So it's like,
the
so
people.
when you look at, oh, sorry, go on.
Well, I was gonna say the people that usually have really good stocks or whatever, they don't plan on the stock to do well. They kind of are just supporting the company. I think of it as like a streamer thing. Like if
Hmm.
Andre were to sub to me, right? I would assume that
Hmm.
Andre isn't doing that because because he's dependent on my success for something. He'd be doing it so that he doesn't have to deal with ads and this, and then was it and to like I guess support me, where like how that compares to somebody that's like let's say like, they really like Coca Cola and they want that company to do well even though it's already good to just to make sure it has some fucking legs to stand on. They do that. They keep drinking Coke and then hopefully because the company has the stock, it doesn't have like a debt or anything like that. And then because Coke stayed up, it pays back the people that kind of invested to it. Where what Pointless is doing is like, dude, maybe when the pandemic happened, everybody could have invested in like masks and stuff like that, like what medical supplies and everything.
Hmm.
But the thing is at the time, all that stuff like kind of blew over, and he was just kind of like randomly investing into like a company that you would have never heard of, and hoping it popped off. And it's like a dead company, and then it would be like one company that already exists, that's already like full. Maybe like a Coca Cola company, where it's like
Hmm.
there's plenty of investors, and you put in like one stock, like you have one stock in the company, and then there's people that have like 20 or 30 that don't give a damn about that 20 or 30. And then he's just like, this is going to get me out of my predicament with my parents. And it's kind of like, dude, if it was that easy, everybody would do it, first off. And second off, he was talking to buy low, sell high. He sounded like a fucking pyramid scheme drone, bro. Like, what the fuck? That'd be like you advocating the gambling that it's gonna flip your life from going to ranting uh, to like owning your place. Yes, it
Hmm.
can happen, but putting all your
It's
chips
not
on it,
likely.
instead of just focusing on what you can do to be progressive, I don't even think it's a bad risk. I'm putting essentially all my eggs in one basket with the streaming. I'm doing that. And I wouldn't appreciate it if somebody like undermined my stream thing. I don't like it when people do it.
Hmm.
I know, I remember we did. But the thing is, right, is I'm doing streaming until I can avoid the situation your father had to unfortunately go through, right? And I'm
Hmm.
staying with McDonald's. I'm not flipping off my workplace. I'm continuing to work sparingly while keeping my body in check, and then I'm putting a lot of my eggs here while I'm younger, in hopes that I can do what I want to do for fun and it's successful. But if it isn't, I can just be like, okay, this isn't working, and then I go back to this. It sucks the dream failed. I got to do it for as long as I could. You know what I mean? Back to
Mm-hmm.
sustaining and living my life and doing what I have to do to survive.
Yeah.
And to him it was kind of like it didn't seem like police academy was the end goal. It seemed like he was actually far more interested in the trendy like what the fuck is it called that fucking drink, the gamer fuel shit. He
G
was
Fuel.
yeah, he was more concerned with G Fuel and like stock market prices, and it's just like, dude, I'm streaming, I'm doing the trendy stuff, like I'm trying to attempt to do that, and you're putting that down, saying there's a lot of streamers out there, you're gonna take an L. And then I say one comment about like how risky the stock market is, and I'm jokingly saying that as I get attacked by gold for having good luck in a random Roblox game, and he takes it like to the heart. Like it just it was ridiculous, dude. Like it was so completely uh, outlandish because it makes it seem like that is his plan. Like that was like
Mm-hmm.
forget being police. Like he is now a stock market watcher that is waiting to sell low and buy high or buy low and sell high uh like overnight, and it's just kind of like, bro, the people that are doing what you're doing have probably been doing it for like who knows how long. The stock market's been
Yeah.
in the US forever.
Like the thing is with it, like I've a degree in economics, right? That's what I did in college, right? So like I know a thing or two about cash flows. I know a thing or two about the stock market, right?
I really don't.
And now nearly everyone that like average Joes that get involved in the stock market, right? They're going to look at this big time investor that say made YouTube videos or has made articles online with advice on how to invest, right? But in reality, none of that shit is going to make you rich, right? If someone's making millions of dollars on the stock market, why would he tell random people how he's doing it? Because it's going
I
to affect him making his money, right?
I think even if he tells them, right, it's a ploy to him to get more money, or
Yeah, no, like of course.
or because he's telling you after effect, even if he's sentimental or whatever, right? It's too late.
Mhm. Yeah, and there's also people that work in like advisory on stocks, right? Like there's brokers that all they do is work with other people's money and invest other people's money to try and make them returns, right? That's a very big job in business. So why would this guy be telling you the secrets of how to make money on the stock market when he could work a job that makes him like 6 to 7 figures a year investing rich people's money and applying those like his tricks on the stock market to do it. Why would he be randomly giving you that information for free when he could give it to rich people and make millions of dollars, right? Like there's no get rich quick scheme on the fucking stock market, right? Inevitably, if you're investing a couple of $100 every week into the stock market, you'll make like 20 or $30 every week, right? Even if you do it very well, right? Like the reason you see people making millions of dollars in profit on the stock market is because they're investing hundreds of millions, right? Like you don't randomly invest $100 and get $1 million returned. You invest $100 and maybe make $10. Then you invest that 110,
That's how they
maybe
teach
make
us in school.
$20, right?
That's how they teach us in school. They treated it like an orange, like a glass of orange juice. They basically were like, when you do stock market, they're like, you bought 10 cups, and then suddenly it becomes like 11. Like you know what I mean? And then you sell 11 or something. Like it was something along those lines. It was very like, you can do this, but it's very you know what I mean? You're I'd say Zeke would be the perfect for this like lower ones. You know what I mean? Like where you just swindle
Mhm.
somebody just a little bit so you just edged out. And I just saw it as like kind of like this giant waste of time. Because that time that you spent doing the strategic checkers maneuver with like $110, right? And with your 100, you could have probably just went to a real job and made 110 in a shift.
Yeah, no, like for sure. Like the way the stock market should, like the stock market is amazing as a tool, right? And the way you should look at the stock market is the way I've always invested. And I have like a fucking degree on fucking economics, right? I know my finances, right?
Yeah.
The way you invest in the stock market isn't depending on stocks going up or down, right? You don't invest in a company like Coca-Cola, being like Coca-Cola is going to make it big. I'm going to invest 100K now, and next week I'm going to sell it for 150K. No, that's not how you invest. You slowly build up a savings account. So you make a, oh, what's it called in America? It's a, oh, there's an investment account, the banking account that doesn't get taxed.
I think
I can't
checking.
remember.
Probably
But
checking.
it's not a checking account as a specific. It's
Debit?
like numbers. It's like a P87 or something like that.
Oh,
It's
okay,
some
okay.
weird stuff. But so what you do is any of your disposable income you put into one of those investing accounts. It slowly makes interest depending on how much you have in there, right? You keep adding more and more into it. Then as you get up towards having say 20, 30K in there, you start hiring someone that knows more about the stock market than you do to start investing very safely that 20 or 30K. And over the span of 20 or 30 years, you slowly putting your money aside that you didn't really need. You just putting that aside, not really thinking about it. By the time you retire, it'll be a couple of million, right? So it's something you can sit back and retire on, right? You don't use the stock market to go from being broke to being rich like within a few years. That's not how it works. Any serious investor will always tell you if you're investing in a company like Coca-Cola or investing in a company like Tesla, you put your money there and you forget about it for a couple of years. You put your money in there and you just pretend you never had that money. And you look back in 5 or 10 years and maybe that $100 you put in is suddenly worth a couple of 100,000, right? It's not going to happen overnight like the money you're investing,
Yeah,
right?
dude, this
So
guy was
people
tracking it
thinking
by the minute, dude. I am not
like
exaggerating.
but like it's so inefficient to do that because if you're just constantly looking at the stock market, you're wasting time that you could have been like doing another job and making more money to invest into it, right? So like let's say I have a lot of faith in Tesla is the future. Like Tesla's electric cars and the rockets, everything they're doing, that's the future, right? So I'm going to invest in Tesla. Let's say I have $400 every week. That's just disposable income. I
Okay.
just keep slapping in $400 into Tesla every week and I just forget about it. I don't look at how the Tesla stock is doing. I have faith that Tesla as a company is the future, right? You invest in companies you have faith in and you keep your money in that company for long periods of time, right? Because inevitably it's going to go up in value. Like no matter what, the market will always go up because of inflation, right? What $1 is worth today, or £1 or €1, that's nowhere near what £1 or $1 was worth 30 years ago, right? Because the price of money inevitably goes up, goes down in value. Sorry, right? So it's like what you could buy for $1 20 years ago you probably have to pay $4 or $5 for that today, right? Because the
Yeah.
price of the dollar just constantly goes down, right? So if I invest in a company and I leave my money in that company for 10 years, there's inevitably going to be more money in that share when I come back in 10 years, even if the company is doing the exact same, because the price is always going to go up due to inflation, right? That's just how the concept
Yeah,
works, right?
and if you take all that stuff into factor, and the fact that I had a friend of my father's who invested into Coke stock and they gave me $1,000 or $2,000 I think 1 year, and it was only like one stock in the '70s or something. That you have somebody
Hmm.
like me experiencing that, you wording it all like that, and then a guy that's just like, let me try it out. and stares at the fucking graph or whatever and goes, "This is my big break," and then I make one joke and that guy's triggered, it's kind of like, dude, like this isn't me, this isn't on me, man. Like
Yeah,
I think you're angry at your situation and you're putting it on me.
yeah, no, I don't think he's stupid for wanting to invest, right? But I think he's stupid for thinking investing in the stock market is going to flip his life around all of a sudden, right? It's not
I
going to
mean, it
do
can
that.
eventually, but like
Yeah, but
you were talking about like retirement and stuff.
yeah, that's what most people use the stock market for. They invest and it's like, oh, maybe 10 years from now I might have made a lot of money, right? There are some investors that are very successful doing what's called day trading, which is you invest in a stock, you find stocks that start off low in the morning and like they suddenly like go up say 10% throughout the day, right? You have people that like day trade, it's called. But the people that day trade, for you to make any serious money day trading, you need to have so much money behind you, right? Like if I'm investing $100 and I'm trying to day trade, I may be making $1 or $2 every day, right? It would have been just better for me to go and work a full-time job,
Hold
right?
on, hold on,
Instead
hold
of
on, hold on, hold
trying.
on, hold on. The dogs are barking.